Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dan Babineau. I'm Chief Manufacturing and Technology Officer for Davenport CJ Winter. I'm here with Peter Dilberto. One of the first things I would like to do is thank all the PMPA members, the PMPA board, committee members for sticking through these last couple of years, which were pretty difficult, I'm sure, for all of us. So we're glad to be back here, and today we're going to give you a little bit of a demonstration on the Davenport Hybrid machine. Try to dispel some of the rumors that setting up a Davenport, changing over Davenport, takes a long time. We had to get asked that question many, many times. So today, Peter, the machine is currently configured to run this brass hex part. We're generating the hex, we're forming, we're profiling, we're drilling, we're broaching an internal hex, single point threading and rigid tapping in 15 seconds to manufacture this part. So what Peter's going to do is we're going to transition this entire machine over to run a 3/16 stainless part. So Peter, if you want to go ahead, in the meantime, I'm going to give you some description of the machine and some of the services that we can provide. This Davenport machine is our most advanced, most accurate machine to date. When you buy or purchase a hybrid machine, you purchase more than just a machine tool. You purchase a group of engineers, you purchase the service, support, and expertise of over 100 years of Davenport manufacturing. Many times we get asked, operator skill level, what do I need to be able to run one of these machines? What is it going to take me to change over? What are the lead times for tooling? Our Davenport Hybrid Solutions team is here to help support in any way we can to make you successful with a machine tool. From training your employees, to service training, to layout assistance, cycle time evaluation, and part changeovers. We have more than 10 applications engineers right at Davenport itself, but Brinkman International Group has more than 30 to help in engineering and design support. Many of the tools utilized in the Davenport are form tools, which if you're a multi-spindle user, you're very familiar with. In this machine, we utilize off-the-shelf insert style form tools that fit in our modular tool holders. We offer production of modular inserts. If you so desire, we'll help with tool design, whatever you might need in order to get your jobs up and running. The other thing that we can do, if you have space limitations and you're not ready to take on a full machine, if you have working to get your financial pieces together, you need pre-production assistance, we can offer you to run some production up until the time you're ready to take delivery and get trained on your current machine. We offer full turnkey services if you so desire. So we feel as though we can really help in a lot of different ways other than just giving you a piece of iron. Another big piece of the hybrid solutions is operator training. I've talked to numerous people here today about how do I get my people going and how do I teach them what to do? Can you come to my facility? Certainly we can come to your facility. We prefer to initially start out with on-site training so that we can teach you the ins and outs of the hybrid machine. If we did a turnkey, obviously then when we deliver the machine to your facility, we can come in and continue the training as well as the installation of the machine tool. You know, we've got a pretty good track record, hundreds and hundreds of machine operators on Davenports through our Davenport training program internally. Another thing that's offered is maintenance training. If you purchase a machine, we'll also train you on the maintenance of the machine and some minor repairs. I know many people with Davenports rebuild their own and do a lot of different things, but This one with a CNC, we certainly can offer some training assistance. So tackling some of your toughest machining challenges. In years past, not many people would try A286 stainless on a Davenport machine. Not something that we would fear at all. As a matter of fact, we have customers and ourselves that run production on a daily basis of A286, 316 stainless, Waspaloy turnkeys we've done. So high temp alloys and difficult to machine materials are not something that this machine can't handle for a variety of reasons, which I'll cover in a minute when we talk about the specifics of the machine itself.
Could I ask you to point out to our attendees the fire trace equipment that you have on it when you are running those kinds of tough alloys?
Certainly, yes, we will.
Would you show them?
Yeah, we can do that. I mean, it's something that comes on every machine standard, and I certainly will touch on that in a bit. But yes, when you're running cutting oil, you do want to have some type of fire suppression. Fire suppression is standard on all hybrid machines. So going back to some of the insert and manufacturing, these tool holders that we manufacture are dovetail style tool holders, very rigid, fully capable of high pressure coolant, 1000 PSI, which is another standard feature on a Davenport machine, Davenport hybrid machine. Something that's new, very new to hybrid and Davenport. Many of you multi-spindle people understand how to establish a layout, how to build a layout, how to time your tools, how to do the things necessary in order to get a cycle up and running. Because you do have 5 spindles working at one time, and you have up to 13 axes all working at one time. So we've developed what we call a layout assist module. Basically, if you can get a concept of your machining process, which is, it's a turning process, what you want to do first, whether it be rough drill or form the outside, you can actually enter these items into our layout assist module on a very intuitive, simple way. As you build through your process, it'll actually show you what your cycle time is. It also helps time the tools. If you're drilling in first and forming in first, you may not want to do those things all at the same time. So you can easily move them around within the module and establish an appropriate cycle time. You know, we've taken some pretty inexperienced people and been able to show them how to operate the module and give them a concept of what the machine can actually do and not be afraid of what it might take in order to get all 13 axes working together. So by all means, when we're done here, if you guys want to stop in and see what the module can do, we can run through examples, we can show you what it does, and help you out. If you have part prints, we can actually walk through those as well. So imagine a new age of multi-spindle machining. More along the lines of CNC. You know, gone in many cases on this machine are the turnbuckles and physical adjustments you need to do in order to hold size or machine a part. This machine is faster, easier to set up. If you need to make size adjustments, it's all done digitally. You can do it on the fly while the machine's running. No need to stop and adjust. This is built on a long bed casting, which allows 2 additional inches in the work zone, which may not seem like a lot, but if you've run Davenports in the past, getting your hands in to work on tools and for chip flow, much, much better than it has been in the past. And the one thing that, with all the changes that we've done, we still have not affected at all the legendary Davenport speed that a lot of people within this show and many others understand because of the speed at which the Davenport can operate. This machine has a new machine base. Standard Davenports hold approximately 50 gallons of oil. This one holds 200. So for thermal dampening, thermal control of the oil, much better. The base is wider, it's tubular construction, all with only basically the machine is the same size as a standard Model B, except it's approximately 6 inches wider. Length is the same. So it's actually a very compact machine. Another very new thing to this tool, to this show. 2019 we had this machine here, but we had the standard cam-driven back-working arm and cam-driven cam-driven pick-off spindle. No longer, the pick-off spindle is now CNC driven. The dogs that you used to control to open and close the collet, those are gone. You actually open and close your collet with a standard M code like you would in a CNC, and the CNC axis or the spindle moves through being servo driven. Also, there's multiple tools you can use on your backworking now. It's a 3-station backworking. You can also add a square stick tool if you want to contour turn, but you have 3 stations of backworking. You can single point thread, you can bore, you can ID groove, you can turn and rigid tap. I know many people are familiar with bent shank tapping. Rigid tapping we've been able to show is very, very effective with this machine. The 5 positions around the revolving head are all CNC driven now. You still have 2 swing arms, one in 5th and one in 3rd, but they're all CNC driven. We utilize NSK ball screws and THK rails for all of our CNC slides. Again, gone are the days of cams, linkages, and turnbuckles. Accuracy, repeatability on this machine is the best we've ever been able to build. The control. The electronics and motors are basically supplied by ABB. You'll see B&R on there. They're a subsidiary of ABB. Many of you guys know them as the robotics manufacturer, but they make the hardware. The software is actually developed by Davenport. Davenport owns the software. We control what goes into it, what goes out of it. We can make changes. Much different than many other machine tools where you've got to go back to the manufacturer to get charged to have something adjusted or modified. So we control the software. So I urge you, when we're done, stop by. We can show you more of the functionality of what goes on with the control. So digital size control. In the past, many 5-spindle, 6-spindle, multi-spindle machines utilize shave tools or tools to be able to, because you're rotating your spindles in order to get them in an accurate position, you needed to use a shave tool or some type of tool that's very, very difficult to adjust. With the Davenport Hybrid, you have digital adjustment. You can actually adjust a tool position to each and every spindle so that you can basically form and have every part come out the same size. Once you're done with that, you actually have a global offset, which is basically your wear adjustment. And from there, you can adjust as your tool wears or your size changes, all 5 spindles. Adjustment increments are in 1/10, so it's very fine adjustment on these machines. The 4th position axis is actually a 2-axis CNC slide. So from in the 4th position, which is the one vertical on top, you can actually contour just as you would in a CNC lathe. You can profile turn, You can add boring bars, you can single point thread, you can do anything you can do on a CNC axis as far as turning, profiling, boring, threading, which is something unique to a Davenport machine, obviously. Another thing that I guess I wasn't even totally aware of until maybe 6 months ago or so is some of the unique things that some of our software engineers and our electrical engineer did with this machine. It's a very energy efficient machine. Many times on CNCs, when spindles stop or axes stop, there's power that's given off by those motors as they decelerate and brake. This machine actually takes that energy and puts it back onto the electrical line rather than dissipating it as heat, which many machine tools do. That's why many times when you're starting and stopping your spindle, you get overheating conditions or things start to run hotter. This machine dumps that energy back into the line, thus saving a lot of money on energy. It's really a pretty neat little addition to the machine. Another thing that we've tried to do with hybrid and hybrid solutions is I've bought many machine tools in my, well, I'm not going to tell you how many years, but buying machine tools, there's always an a la carte. I want a chip conveyor. I want a mist collector. I'd love to have high pressure on my machine. Geez, can I get a parts conveyor, chip conveyor? All of these different options on many of the machine tools are no longer with the Davenport Hybrid machine. These are all standard on the machine. Fire suppression, 1000 PSI coolant, mist collection, chip conveyor, part conveyor, and part chute, all standard on the machine. So, if any of you are familiar with Davenport's older ones, the revolving head, which is where all the spindles are maintained, always ran on a film of oil. Over time, metal to metal, they wear, they get a little bit looser, have a little bit more difficult time holding tight tolerances. The hybrid machine is not like that. This has dual contact bearings in both the front and the rear of the revolving head, so there's no more friction there. Adds a lot of stability and accuracy to the head itself. The spindles that are in the revolving head are no longer running in bronze boxes. They also have angular contact bearings, triplex in the front, duplex in the back, so that your spindle runouts, roundness, concentricities, and rigidity greatly improved from machine tools by Davenport in the past. I did talk a little bit about the standard machine being production ready. I got a question from one individual today that came up to me and asked me, are those the lights that you normally have on that come on a machine? I mean, as odd as it may sound that somebody asked about lighting, this is the lighting that comes with the machine. It's not staged for our wonderful video and presentation, but it is, that is the lighting that comes with the machine. Another thing that many customers that we've talked to have become much more safety conscious. These all come with non-contact door interlocks. So anytime if you're up and running, someone comes by, opens the door, shuts the machine off. There's numerous emergency stops. I think there's 3 of them on the machine. That from any place on the machine, you can actually stop the machine. Another thing that we've actually added, because many of our customers are trying to hold tighter and tighter tolerances, and in many cases trying to hold them in aluminum or thin-walled steel parts, thermal expansion can be an issue. This machine also comes standard. We didn't bring it with us just because we weren't going to run it for 10, 12 hours. it comes with a heat exchanger, which will keep the oil temperature in the machine, internal temperatures, towards the ambient of what's in your shop. So if your shop runs at 75 degrees, I wouldn't expect that your oil or your machine tool would get much above that, because we're constantly using a heat exchanger on the coolant. If you wanted to add an actual coolant chiller, we could certainly offer that, but the heat exchanger comes as a standard piece on the equipment. Chip Blaster. We offer Chip Blaster as our high pressure coolant system. If you so choose to go with a different manufacturer, we certainly can address that. We can accommodate any type of high pressure coolant system. It's what we offer as standard on our machine. There are 8 ports to the machine, so you can put high pressure coolant to 8 different locations. We've actually taken them and spliced them and run them to numerous. The other thing is all the end working tools are also set up for through tool high pressure coolant. So all your drilling, if you have reaming, whatever, tapping, whatever you might want to get high pressure up and through the tool, the machine is set up to accommodate that. Superior size control. We had a customer come in and they wanted us to do a turnkey, so we did the turnkey. Later on in the runoff, they wanted complete SPC data and CPK numbers. It was very, very challenging, with the exception of the hybrid machine. We basically had no issues. They walked away from us praising us for how effectively we were able to manufacture their parts and hold size tolerances. The chart that I have up on the screen is some comparisons that we ran a couple years ago against our Model B, our servo machines, and the hybrid machine. You'll see improved CPK numbers, improved process capabilities. I know more and more of you are getting 0 ppm as the requirement. We believe that this machine can help you get there. So this slide right here is probably the most important to many of you that are possibly looking at any machine tool purchase, is what's my return on investment? How do I get that money back? We believe, because of the legendary Davenport speed, not many people are going to beat us on speed. Combined with the ability to do quick changeovers, the most accurate machine Davenport's ever built, our hybrid solutions team, which is there to support you along the way through tooling, training, application services, and the fact that this is probably, by a factor of maybe 2, one of the least expensive multi-spindle screw machines on the market. We think that provides you with the best return on investment. So Peter, are you? All right, so I'm going to let Peter turn this over, run a part or two, and see that the machine has actually been changed over to run the 3/16 stainless part. So again, come and visit us, come talk about your specific applications. We think if you upgrade to the Davenport Hybrid, you'll get advanced hybrid solutions. So we have to probably wait, what, a minute? Is it a total of a minute? So again, I thank you all for coming. By all means, stop in and see us. Ask us any questions. You have prints, thoughts. We're more than willing to answer all of them. We have many people here to talk with you, so please come and see us. Hopefully we'll get a part out of the other end that looks like it's supposed to. If you want to know a little bit more about the changeover, you certainly can stop and see us too. We'll explain to you exactly what we changed, why we changed it, and kind of how we went about this whole process. Gotta be running about done, right? So it takes a little longer only because we got to load all 5 spindles. So it's a cycle time times 5. This part actually in production is 17.5 seconds. Probably can be sped up if you. So basically here's the part that he's manufacturing. We're actually utilizing 2 different form tools, 2 different drills, a step reamer, a single point profile, transfer the part, rough the bore, and put 2 ID grooves. Actually rough the bore, finish bore, and 2 ID grooves. So he made that complete changeover, and I'm not sure how long I talked for, but I'm sure it's less than 30 minutes. So 25? All right. Great job, Peter. So with that, if anybody has any questions, we can take some questions, or you're more than welcome to come in privately and talk with us. All right, thank you.